And it was such a profound experience to be able to work with Emery on this exhibit and to bring together members of Los Siete to talk about the history between the two organizations. I keep coming back to two quotes in preparing for tonight. One is from Emery, and that is, "It is our duty as the makers of the arts of resistance to always recognize the oppression of others." And that has been the guiding principle for this exhibit and the work and the programs coming out of Emory Douglas in our lifetime. And it's really what inspired me to have tonight to talk about Los Siete and to talk about solidarity. And in really thinking about kind of a lot of our experiences with San Francisco in 2026, where, you know, those of us who are in San Francisco, those of us who live and work in the Bay Area, know that it's a fight just to be here, just to continue to exist here. And there are so many things that we see and love about the Bay Area and about San Francisco, but we are in the fight of our lives to just exist here. And I always come back to Roger Alvarado, whose quote, "What united everyone was a common experience of police brutality and criminalization as a way of enforcing gentrification." And that really stuck with me because that was the fight in the 60s and 70s, and that is the fight in 2026. And so I hope there's a lot we learn tonight in talking to our panelists about the work between Los Siete and the Black Panther Party. And with that, just to give a little bit of background, in a night of May of 1969, 7 young Latino men were involved in a struggle with 2 plainclothes police officers. Officer Brodnick, was it Brodnick? Yes. And McGoran. And one of the officers' gun was discharged at the other, and the 7 brothers, the 7 members who would become known as Los Siete de la Raza, were brought up on charges. It was a large-scale event that happened in the Mission District. The local newspapers painted the brothers as thugs, as criminals. The city government offered a $5,000 bounty for leading to their arrest and unleashed a 150-man squad to terrorize the Mission in the wake of the murder. Close to 1,000 arrests were made within just a few days of the murder. And so it was, I think, the way I've always understood it is that it was such an urgent time in the neighborhood and a response was urgently needed. And through the work of Los Siete and through the work of the Black Panther Party, the brothers were acquitted. And it led to Los Siete as an organization expanding into community services, to legal defense, to free food programs, and we're here to talk about it all tonight. So I think we're gonna, just to start things off, Tony, how did you first hear about the murder or the trial of Los Siete?
There's the microphone right there.
And there's a microphone right there.
Can you hear me without the mic? There we go.
You've got a lot of old people.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Now? So, yes? You have to hold it down,
I think you're good.
huh? Hello, I'm good now?
Yeah.
Well, so I was basically a young guy that grew up in the neighborhood. Didn't know anything about this stuff. Didn't even enter my radar. But probably a lot of young people. And the only thing that was going on at the time was the civil rights movement and all the struggles that were going on that were surrounding us. And so one of my best friends, his name was Jose, he passed now. he would always tell me about the activities he was doing in the community. So every time we'd meet, he'd give me a rundown. He was working with, I forget what organizations now, but he would just name them off. And then one day he was starting to tell me about an organization that had a free breakfast program. And it just so happened at a time when I was, again, not thinking about any of this stuff, I was like about a week away from joining the army to go fight the communists in Vietnam. And so he's like, what? You know, and he started talking to me and he started explaining things to me. And he said, look around, look at the schools we go to, look at how the police treat us. So he talked me out of it. And he said, come and work in the breakfast program. And I did. And that's through working in the breakfast program, I became aware of the organization and what the organization actually stood for and what it was about. See, I wasn't the first wave who started it, I was brought into it, and then I became aware. So I think, so that would be my introduction.